With just a few races under their belt, McLaren has already faced some tough challenges this season. But with different upgrades coming in continuously, they're hoping to fix their weaknesses and get back on track towards their 2023 targets. All eyes are currently on McLaren, as they have had a terrible start to the 2023 season and need to start competing again. But what are they doing to turn things around? Let's find out. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can keep up to date on everything Formula One. It's been a bumpy start to the 2023 season for McLaren. They faced some tough challenges during the preseason test, and things didn't get any easier during the opening races. Both Norris and Piastri struggled for pace, and the team failed to score any points, which was a real blow for them. After some disappointing opening races, the team continued to make excuses, and there was even talk of a significant revision, similar to what Mercedes had planned. Even before the season began, McLaren's technical director, Andrea Stella, was already admitting that the team's MCL60 wasn't where they wanted it to be. The fact that McLaren also changed Daniel Ricciardo for the rookie Oscar Piastri could also play a role in their current situation, as the new driver would need to start from scratch with no experience from Formula One racing. Despite that, Lando Norris seems to be taking a positive approach to the team's start to the 2023 season. He seems to be putting a brave face on things, and he insists that things haven't been as bad as they seem. In a press conference ahead of the Miami Grand Prix, Lando Norris provided some insight into how he and the McLaren team are feeling about their season so far. Despite a slow start that saw them score close to no points from the opening races, Norris doesn't view it as a bad year. As a matter of fact, Norris acknowledged that the team was playing catch-up from where they should have been, but he also believes they have a solid foundation to build on moving forward. He said, "I guess we were playing a little bit of catch-up from where we should have been. I think we have a good baseline to work from now." While some of you may argue that McLaren has had a bad year given their ambition to win races, Norris points out missed opportunities to score points in the first and second races. He continued, "We should have scored points in the first race of the season, could have scored them in the second. This shows that the team is not far off the mark and that there is still room for improvement." At the moment, McLaren finds themselves in the middle of the pack, in a closely contested battle with several other teams. Norris recognizes that every race day brings a new set of challenges, and their performance can vary from day to day. He explained, "One day will look a bit better, and the next day will look a little bit worse, but it's enjoyable." Do McLaren have what it takes to turn this around now? Let's find out. Although the team is aware that they are currently behind 4 other teams, Norris sees it as a challenge rather than a setback. "Every now and then, we can maybe get close, but it comes to the race, and they are in another league compared to us," he explained. "So we are kind of fighting for 9th and 10th at the minute, which doesn't sound like a lot, but the small points will add up." However, he also mentioned that they would try to understand the new parts they brought to Baku and try to make the most of them. At present, a burning question on everyone's mind is regarding the nature and impact of the upgrades that McLaren has implemented. Will these upgrades be significant enough to make them competitive? To be honest, things started to look up for McLaren in the following races in Australia and Azerbaijan. Norris and Piastri managed to put in some impressive performances and helped the team secure a 5th-place finish in the Constructors' Championship for the time being. Although the MCL60's first facelift is not expected to completely transform the team's competitive prospects, both McLaren drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, have expressed cautious outlooks ahead of the weekend, which fits with the narrative that has gradually managed expectations since Bahrain. The significant floor revision, with changes from the front to the back of the car's surface geometry, is the first of 3 major upgrade packages that McLaren has planned for this season. Piastri said that the expectation is for the upgrade not to change the balance of the car, but to improve its performance. So the handling characteristics will be similar, and the car should just have a higher ceiling. He also said that they'd gone through with the engineers and the aero guys back at the factory where they expect to find time, but it shouldn't drastically change the balance of the car from what they anticipate. This upgrade is the result of work conducted under the previous technical regime. headed by ex-technical director James Key, which has since been overhauled because McLaren felt it was not good enough at generating unique ideas or producing upgrades as quickly as necessary. But in Key's time in charge, McLaren proved quite adept at catching up with rivals and replicating good ideas from other cars, so it should be reasonably confident that this upgrade will result in a decent step, which means there is hope. Piastri added that the upgrade is the first step in many for the year and won't be a magic bullet that gets them to the top of the grid. It should be a moderate step of performance, and they'll find out how much it is compared to the rest of the field. He also emphasized the importance of validating that the upgrade works as expected so that further upgrades can be fruitful. During a recent media session, the racing director of McLaren, Andrea Stella, elaborated that in modern Formula One, there are numerous sensors and pressure maps that allow teams to measure the aerodynamic performance of the car. So unless there are some anomalies, they're not too worried about assessing whether the upgrades are positive or not. Moreover, Stella expressed his support for the new format of the sprint races. He stated that they are happy with the idea of having a standalone qualifying session to set the grid for the sprint, which would then have no impact on the main Grand Prix. McLaren is optimistic that this upgrade will result in a decent step forward, but it's just the first step in a series of upgrades planned for the season. The team is cautious and manages expectations. It seems like McLaren is slowly but surely making progress, and their recent performances have given the team a much-needed boost. Of course, there is still a long way to go in the season, and they will need to continue to work hard to stay competitive. But for now, they can take heart from the fact that they're moving in the right direction. So do you think McLaren can make significant progress with their upgrades and challenge Red Bull, Ferrari, and Aston Martin for the podium finishes? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Formula One content.